So what if you dream about an ex?
An ex, well, an ex is where there's been a relationship, but it's finished. So if it's an ex-husband, if it's not about the ex-husband, it could be about something that has had authority over you, or you have given your affection to, or placed your desire towards, but you don't anymore. That because it's finished, right? So I think I mean, I haven't had too many dreams about that, but in any sense, really, like even ex-friends and so on. But it can be there's a sense of what that thing meant to you, symbolically, and the fact that it is now finished. I mean, part of the thing is that when we talk about family and dreams, we're talking about a deep relationality, and with exes and bereavement, there is always a process of working through the emotions of that, which we'll perhaps talk
Yes,
about.
I mean, I would like to talk
And
about
so
that.
that is a strong element in dreams. If you have an ex-husband, if you suffer a bereavement or a loss, and you're dreaming about that person, one of the things to ask is there some area, am I grieving? Am I mourning? Is there something that I need to think about? Well, I need to
Well,
think about how to process this.
I think I remember interpreting a dream once for someone who had dreamt that them and their ex were getting back together, and they were having a lovely relationship, and I feel like it was the sense of the bereavement, of the loss of that relationship, and they I think were trying to process that. So it is actually quite important to talk about bereavement and understanding when a family member comes to you. I had a series of dreams with family members who'd passed away, and they came to me in dreams, and at the time I really was trying to work through the process of they died suddenly in a car crash, and so they appeared to me in a car in the dream, and I actually at that stage was still trying to process the loss. So in a sense it was a soul dream for me of having lost that family member, and that being a deep wound that I still needed to work through. And I don't know if it was a God dream, but I suppose the Holy Spirit works with you to try and bring stuff up that seems to be hidden in your soul. And then, I mean, I did have to go through a long process of having to understand the loss process and how to work through it. And these family members would appear to me in dreams. So if you dream about grandparents, it could be about that grandparent, but it could be something in your generational line that it kind of is coming back, especially if they're dead. So if you dream about a dead family member, you got to understand also what that means. You know, it could be a generational thing or an issue that's coming back into your to notice, where God's saying, you've had this generational thing, you've had some generational things in your family, and God's had to bring them back to memory for you to. Did you dream about your grandparents, or would
No, just their house. I've not actually seen my grandparents in my dreams.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, just their house.
That is interesting. So it is always about context. It's about understanding what's going on in your life at the minute that you're having the dreams. I mean,
and what they mean to you, right? Because grandparents, you can, as a child, you can often have a very specific and special relationship with your grandparents, and so if that's coming back, it could be something that they represented to you, particularly from when you were younger.
Yeah, and sometimes, like, the message they have is because you have such a special relationship. It's the message that you would be able to only receive from them in a dream. But yeah, so these are all very interesting things. How can you tell if your dream is spiritual, to be interpreted, or foreseeing the future? I think always the best thing to do is to write it down. And I didn't realize I was foreseeing the future with Sophie. But I wrote it down, and when looking back on it, I realized that it was a foreseeing of the future. Also, like, I do see a lot of stuff in the future. Recently, I had a dream about going to a friend's house. They don't know the Lord, but we've been praying for them quite a lot. And in this dream, I dreamt that my friend he's being treated for cancer at the minute. So 3 days before he was going for his next set of treatment, I dreamt that something in the cancer treatment had killed him. And a few weeks after that, we were called by them to help them because he had to be rushed into hospital because the cancer treatment almost did kill him. So, and I dreamt that 3 days before the fact. And it wasn't like, hey, I should go tell my friend, your husband's about to die of cancer. From the cancer treatment. But I think it was a call to prayer for them, and we did start praying. And they said at the hospital, if he had been 24 hours later, he might not have made it. So in some way, we played a part with making sure that he would be taken to hospital. We're actually going past their house, and his wife saw us and phoned us and said, "Oh, were you running by? Can you look after the kids? I need to take my husband into hospital." So I think often the future dreams are to orient you towards a thing, and God really does do his work in that. He puts you in the right place at the right time because he's oriented you towards an outcome. I often think future dreams, they tend not to make sense in any other way, like just thinking about Sophie and the piano. It's like, I'm not really sure what this means actually, so I'm just going to record it and keep it. And so that means it could be a future dream. In a way, I think the question is not so much how do I know if it is or isn't, but it's like, well, do I get a strong sense it could be? And if it could be, then it's okay, God, why have you shown me this? You've oriented it towards me, you've brought it over my horizon, I can see it's there. So I'm just going to let you speak into it, and I'll partner with you. I'll take my role in helping out in this situation to bring an outcome that you would want, right? So we hopefully that gives you guys some framework on understanding what people mean in your dreams.